I live in a clean home. I drink clean water. I use clean hygiene products. I eat clean food. And that clean food is nourishing to my body and not over the top in, say, carbs or sugar or something of that nature, so that you can just stay well.
Yeah. Can we dive into the clean hygiene products a little bit? Because as this audience knows, I make my own soaps most of the time. I have made my own toothpaste forever. I try to stay clean myself. Like that's well documented. But one of the areas that I know can be a trigger or a hot topic is deodorant
Yeah.
and antiperspirants. And I hear from a lot, and I talk about toothpaste a lot, and I talk about stuff that can be absorbed, right? Because, you know, in your mouth, things get absorbed first there. So I talk a lot to people about these things that we're putting on or in our bodies that get absorbed and then, you know, do damage in a different way than you might not be thinking. And so one of them is deodorant. And I haven't used an antiperspirant deodorant in 10 years. I mean, I started my whole journey like 10, 12 years ago. So everything's about that long. But, you know, what are some of the things in these hygiene products that people should be looking out for, and what can they do to your body if you're not
Oh
careful?
man. I mean, this was a fun conversation I was having the other day with a client, brand new to like the whole functional medicine world, which I'll be frank, I don't get that very often anymore because people get to my Instagram, and by the time that we're talking, they're no longer like new. So I don't get the excitement of like the face when people like, oh, wait a minute, what?
That's
So
the
we
magic
talk.
of coming here is a lot of people are probably hearing some of this stuff from me, but like not at the level of expertise or way that you're able to speak about it. So I think that's what makes this show great.
Yeah. So hygiene products. Well, specifically deodorant. Let's just talk about the fact that antiperspirant is mostly aluminum. Um, as far as like that really bad ingredient we all want to remove. And so many people advertise aluminum free now.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're using aluminum to clog up your pores, to clog up your sweat glands so that you don't sweat because you don't want to like have pit out. Cool. I get it. I don't want to pit out either. But what does aluminum do to your body? One, well, look up the connection between aluminum and Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm. It's all in the
Who
brain.
wants to lose their memory? Not I. And then beyond that, you're clogging pores, which doesn't allow sweat out. Well, what is sweat? Well, sweat is cooling your body. So, okay, if I don't need to be cooler, I'll sacrifice that. But also, what is sweat? Sweat is detox. It's removing other toxins. So it's removing waste from your body. So now we're adding toxin and then not detoxing. We're not removing toxin. So we're doubling down on the bad. And we don't want to be doing that. And that's just aluminum alone. Again, correlated straight back to neurological disease, specific Alzheimer's, but also some other things. ChatGPT it. I just did. I literally pulled it up because I'm just like, why not? And I think it's fun because people trust AI these days, right? So they trust what it is. So we don't want to have aluminum in our body. Now, on the other side of it, what other things can be in there? Well, phthalate, which is a plastic that can massively decrease your testosterone. Plastics and different things like that can decrease testosterone. It can be endocrine disrupting, so it can decrease the effectiveness of hormones inside your body. So imagine if you had a savings account with $1 million in it, and you had a bill that was $1,000, but your checking account had 100. Right? You can't pay the bill. But what if you lost access to your savings account? It's useless. That's what an endocrine disruptor does to your body. That's what BPA plastics does. That's what so many of these other things do in your body. They block access to receptors so that the hormones you actually have cannot go and tell your body to do something. So because of this, you can't create what you need to be creating, whether that's metabolism or digestion or enzyme production or whatever it is you're looking for. And the problem is phthalate increases absorption of everything. So if I am a hygiene company, I want to put phthalate in there because it's going to increase the absorption of the vitamin E and all these other things that they put in there. And by no means am I a hygiene expert. And I can't tell you exactly which products they use phthalate to increase absorption of to the best ability, because that's just not my focus.
Yeah.
But it increases absorption. And when it increases absorption, one, it's of the good stuff, but it's also the phthalate, which then is a forever chemical and then damages your body. And they've connected phthalates to in children, if the mother of the child has a high level of phthalate in comparison to the mother of a child that does not have a high level of phthalate, it decreases IQ by about 7%.
In the child?
Like 7 points, because the average person's about 100. So if you decrease by 7% intelligence, that's a big deal. That's a difference
huge.
between like getting A's and B's and C's.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's the development of a child. It can decrease the size of the male development. So the penis size, we don't want to do that to our sons. Like, there's so many reasons that we don't want to get this stuff in our body, and it's in there. And then you can talk about shampoos and parabens being endocrine disrupting. So what I end up doing is I go to EWG, which is Environmental Workers Group. You literally can type in your product and it will tell you what it ranks. I am not as committed as you are. I wish I could say I was, as far as like making my own toothpaste and making my own stuff. That'd be awesome. That's just not my passion point. Like, I want to go to Chiefs game, or I want to build more content out and grow that. So what I do is I just go to EWG and I go buy stuff. Like, I buy Revitin toothpaste from Jerry Caratola, who is an expert dentist, and I let him do that work for me. And then I'll go and buy Everyman Jack, which most of their products fit my parameters. So like 1 to 3 on EWG, to where I will use them. There's a couple that don't, so you still got to be careful.
I use their deodorant sometimes. I've just recently started this one called Magsol, which is like a mineral, magnesium based natural coconut oil. I forget what else in it, but very natural. But I like Everyman Jack. It meets my threshold too.
Yeah, so it's just
but they have both, to be clear to people. Some of the scents that they have are antiperspirants, which is when you know that it has aluminum in it.
Yeah, they do have both. So that's what you got to just type in your specific product, which you can actually download their app and then just scan the barcode, which makes it even easier. So it just comes down to what do you need to do? And here's the fun part. When you've detoxed, when you're healthy, and when you haven't been using all the junk, your body actually acclimates. And there's like a movement out there. It's very under the radar because nobody wants to admit it. But if you don't use all these harsh chemicals on your skin to clean yourself, if you don't use the antiperspirants, if you do detox, can you imagine that your body gets cleaner? And when your body gets cleaner, you don't stink as much?
I know. I've noticed that.
So you don't need
Even
all the
when I
scents.
sweat, I don't stink.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit after a while, but not like you used to.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, like, I'm hanging out with some friends and some of the girls are like, you suck. I know you didn't put deodorant on because we talked about it. You don't smell. You're sweating. So yes, I do sweat, but you don't smell. And I stink. I smell myself and you don't. And you're a dude. And why is this happening?
That's hilarious. But it's what you put in your body. It's what you put on your body. It's all of those things. That's so funny. So what did you say the toothpaste brand was you use?
It was Revitin from Jerry Caratola.
Revitin.
He's one of those expert biological dentists.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think what kind of gets overwhelming about these kinds of information and these kinds of conversations, though, at least for me, and I kind of am not surprised by anything anymore, but it's just so much. Like, you look around your life and you feel like the air you're breathing isn't healthy, the water you're drinking isn't healthy, the stuff you're eating isn't healthy, the stuff you're cleaning yourself with isn't healthy. You know, I just saw on Instagram the other day that like we are each in our bodies producing, I guess we're not producing it, inhaling, I guess, like a credit card worth of microplastics. All of this stuff is just hurting us, and it's like slowing down our immune systems and making us vulnerable and disrupting our hormonal production and creating all these imbalances and all of this stuff like this. So I just want to say one of the things, and I said this ahead of time. Now, I've been following you for a while. What I like about your content is it's digestible. It is easy to understand for someone who maybe hasn't heard of Lyme disease for the first time, or some of the water stuff that you share. And I want to say thank you for that. Are you going through life blind? This is Eyes Wide Open with Nick Thompson. On this podcast, we share knowledge and stories that build human connection while elevating stigmatized societal issues such as mental health, holistic wellness, culture, free speech, and more, all to ensure we show up in the world with our eyes wide open.